Okay, got to start by giving a huge shout out to Teacher Ricky.
Yeah.
Not only for producing this whole thing, but for, like, being the mastermind behind this deep dive.
Right.
It was his idea to tackle Gary Vaynerchuk's The Thank You Economy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It really is so relevant.
It is. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Vaynerchuk wrote this back in 2011,
Mhm.
but it feels like more relevant now than ever.
Totally.
It's like he had a crystal ball or something.
He really did.
Yeah.
He's got this knack for, like, spotting trends.
Definitely.
Especially when it comes to social media.
Uh-huh.
And for anyone who, maybe isn't familiar,
Yeah.
Gary V, as he's often called,
Yeah.
he built his empire,
Yeah.
starting with his family's wine business, wine library.
Yep.
So he's like a marketing legend these days.
For sure.
So what's the core message? What's he getting at with the thank you economy?
Well, I think his central thesis is that even in this crazy digital age,
Yeah.
human nature really hasn't changed. Like, we still crave connection.
Yeah.
We want to feel valued, appreciated.
Right.
And we respond to, like, genuine acts of caring.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what, Teacher Ricky does for this show.
Exactly.
He's always going above and beyond to make
Wow.
it happen, to connect with all of you.
Uh-huh.
It's those little things.
It is.
Those acts of kindness that really stick with you.
Absolutely. And Vaynerchuk argues that businesses really need to tap into that
Right.
that human element. He says we're moving away from, like, purely transactional relationships
Okay.
toward a model where genuine connection and caring are, like, the keys to success.
So it's not just about blasting out ads and hoping people buy.
Not anymore, no.
Okay.
He calls that old school approach push marketing.
Okay.
Think billboards, TV commercials, that kind of thing.
Right.
But in the thank you economy, it's all about pull.
Okay.
You attract customers by, like, building relationships, exceeding expectations, and making them want to engage with your brand.
Yeah.
Because they genuinely feel valued.
I love the story he tells about what can happen when you neglect those relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the one about the customer who was denied a coupon at his dad's liquor store?
Oh, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because back then, an unhappy customer might have just grumbled to a few friends.
Right.
But in the age of social media, a negative experience can go viral in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Vaynerchuk really drives home the point that neglecting customer relationships, especially now,
Yeah.
can backfire spectacularly.
It makes you think twice about those online reviews, right?
Absolutely.
We check them for everything these days.
Oh, yeah.
And one bad review
Can really make a difference.
can really make or break you.
For sure.
And that's why this idea of building genuine relationships is so crucial.
Yeah, it's not just about being nice, It's about creating those wow moments
Yeah.
that make customers feel seen and appreciated.
He uses companies like Zappos and FreshDirect as examples, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zappos is legendary
Yeah.
for their, like, insanely long customer service calls,
Right.
where they actually take the time to connect with people.
Yeah.
And FreshDirect, they would do things like
Yeah.
throw in a free bunch of asparagus with your order,
Uh-huh.
just as a little unexpected treat.
Well, that's nice.
It's about going above and beyond to show that you care.
He calls it shock and awe, right?
Yeah.
And he's got some great examples of companies using this approach,
Mm-hmm.
even in small ways.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he talks about Hershey's.
Okay.
They've done things like send families to Hershey Park,
Wow.
or even include handwritten thank you notes
Right.
with small gifts. It might seem like a small gesture,
Yeah.
but it creates this emotional connection, this sense of, wow, they really appreciate me.
It's like kindness is back in style.
It is.
A old new way of doing business.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some grand, expensive gesture.
Right.
It's the thoughtfulness, the authenticity
Yeah.
that really resonates.
He's got another great example from the music industry.
Oh.
The one with 50 Cent and the teenager who criticized him on YouTube.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
This kid made a video
Okay.
poking fun at 50 Cent's endorsements,
Oh.
even jokingly suggesting he create, like, 50 Cent diapers.
Oh.
And, most celebrities would have ignored that or
Right.
maybe even lashed out.
Yeah.
But what did 50 Cent do? He
Yeah.
flew the kid to New York,
Really?
hung out with him, even made a video about it.
Wow.
He turned a potentially negative situation into a positive brand experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Vaynerchuk's examples.
Mm-hmm.
They're relatable, they're entertaining,
Totally.
and they really show that these principles can be applied in all kinds of situations.
Yes.
Not just about big businesses or huge marketing budgets.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
Vaynerchuk emphasizes that even small businesses can leverage the thank you economy.
Oh.
He uses the example of AJ Bombers.
Okay.
It's a burger joint in Milwaukee. They used Foursquare, the social media platform,
Right.
to organize a flash mob event.
Ah.
It created tons of buzz,
Wow.
got them featured on the Travel Channel,
No way.
really put them on the map.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like what Teacher Ricky's doing with this podcast, right?
absolutely.
Building a community, connecting with people,
Mm-hmm.
making a difference in the education world.
Yeah.
One video, one podcast episode at a time.
It all adds up.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's those consistent actions,
Uh-huh.
those genuine efforts to connect
Right.
that really add up over time.
That's what Vaynerchuk is all about.
Yeah.
It's about showing that you care, not just saying it. It's about weaving those values of gratitude and appreciation
Right.
into the very fabric of your business.
And it all starts with company culture, right?
Yeah.
He talks a lot about how important it is to create an environment where employees feel valued and empowered.
Absolutely. He uses Zappos again as an example,
Okay.
highlighting how their CEO, Tony Hsieh,
Yeah.
prioritized employee happiness above all else.
Interesting.
The idea is that if you create a culture where employees feel cared for,
Uh-huh.
they'll naturally extend that same care to your customers.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We've all had those customer service experiences
Oh, yeah.
where you can just tell
Right.
the person on the other end
Mhm.
genuinely wants to help you.
For sure.
That makes a world of difference.
It all goes back to that core human need for connection. In the thank you economy, businesses need to stop thinking of customers as transactions
Okay.
and start treating them like people they actually care about.
And he emphasizes that neglecting those relationships in the digital age
Oh, yeah.
can really backfire.
Big time.
Yeah.
Think about how communication has evolved.
Okay.
You know, from smoke signals to the written word to the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
The methods have changed, but our desire to connect has remained constant.
That's true.
Businesses that fail to adapt to these changes,
Yeah.
that cling to those old push tactics,
Right.
are going to struggle.
And it's not just about reacting to negative feedback online.
Yeah.
Vaynerchuk is huge on proactively using social media
Yes.
to engage with customers,
Right.
build those relationships,
Right.
and even turn negative feedback into positive experiences.
He's got some great stories about how he used Twitter in the early days
Oh, yeah.
to answer people's questions about wine, build his personal brand,
Yeah.
really connect with people on a one-to-one level.
What I find fascinating is that he didn't use those interactions as a hard sell.
No.
It was about providing value,
Right.
building trust,
Mhm.
knowing that the sales would follow naturally.
He's got this great line.
Okay.
You cannot underestimate the sharpness of people's BS radar. People can spot a fake from a mile away.
In the thank you economy, authenticity is everything.
Authenticity and consistency too, right?
Absolutely.
He talks about how it's not enough to just like jump on social media and disappear.
Right.
You have to show up consistently,
Yeah.
engage authentically, and build those relationships over time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And he uses the example of Old Spice.
Okay.
Remember their viral campaign?
Oh, yeah.
They did an amazing job initially blending traditional and social media,
Yeah.
but then they kind of dropped the ball
Oh,
by not continuing the engagement.
it's a good reminder
It is.
that building a thank you economy within your business isn't a one-time thing.
Right.
It's about making those values a core part of your company culture and living them out every single day.
And that takes us to one of Vaynerchuk's most important points.
Okay.
The power of company culture. He argues that if you want to create a thank you economy within your business,
Yeah.
it has to start from within.
So how do you actually build that kind of culture? What are some of the practical steps businesses can take?
Well, Vaynerchuk uses this great analogy of a basketball team.
Okay.
You know, you wouldn't hire someone who can't shoot a basketball onto an NBA team, right?
Definitely not.
Unless you're looking for a guaranteed losing season.
Right, exactly.
And it's the same in business.
Okay.
You need a team that shares your core values, a team that naturally embodies that culture of caring.
Right.
And it all starts at the top
Yeah.
with the leadership,
Right.
setting the example.
He uses a really interesting example from his own company,
Oh, yeah.
Vaynermedia.
Mm-hmm.
He completely got rid of the traditional vacation policy.
Wow.
His employees can take as much vacation time as they need,
Really?
as long as they're getting their work done.
That's interesting.
It's definitely a bold move,
It is.
but it shows incredible trust in his employees.
Yeah.
And that trust fosters loyalty, a sense of ownership,
Right.
which leads to people being more engaged
Yeah.
and ultimately delivering better results.
It's like the old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right.
In the thank you economy.
Yeah.
It's about building a strong, cohesive team
Right.
that's all rowing in the same direction. A team that shares your values and is committed to creating those exceptional customer experiences.
So he's got some practical advice for how to build that kind of team.
He does, for example.
Yeah.
He talks about hiring for cultural fit.
Okay.
You know, finding people who already embody those values
Right,
of caring and authenticity.
So it's not just about skills and experience on paper.
No, not just.
It's about finding people who genuinely connect with your mission,
Right.
are passionate about creating those meaningful customer relationships.
Exactly. And once you've got the right people on board, it's about empowering them to think outside the box,
Okay.
take risks, and really go above and beyond.
He actually has a pretty bold statement about this.
Oh, yeah.
He says, get lean and efficient. Consider firing any employees who aren't bringing 100% of their efforts to the job.
Wow.
And replace them with people who will care as much about your company as you do.
It sounds harsh,
Yeah.
but he's making a point about the importance of passion and commitment.
Right.
He wants to create an environment where those qualities are rewarded and where people are genuinely invested in the success of the company.
And that kind of environment ultimately leads to happier customers and stronger relationships.
He gives a really heartwarming example from Joie de Vivre Hotels. They have something called the Dream Maker program, which encourages employees to use their creativity and knowledge to create those personalized, memorable experiences for their guests.
Do you have a favorite example from the book?
There's a story about a reservations manager who went above and beyond.
For a mother
Yeah.
whose son was battling cancer.
Oh, wow.
The manager put together a special care package
Oh.
and made sure the family felt supported during their stay.
That's amazing.
It's those small acts of kindness, that genuine empathy that can make such a huge impact.
It's like turning your employees into mini marketers.
Right.
Spreading the love for your brand one interaction at a time.
And it goes back to Vaynerchuk's point that every interaction matters. Every customer has the potential to become a brand advocate.
Right.
And every employee has the power
Yeah.
to create those positive experiences.
So it's not just about having a social media team churning out generic messages.
No.
It's about creating a culture of caring
Yes.
that permeates every level of the company.
It's a whole new way of thinking about business.
Right.
And Vaynerchuk argues that it's the only way to truly succeed in the thank you economy.
Oh.
He's got some really compelling examples of businesses that are doing this well, even on a smaller scale.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He talks about a dentist in San Francisco, Dr. Irina Vaxman, who used social media to build her brand and attract new patients. She was one of the first dentists in the city
Oh, wow.
to use platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and even Groupon
Interesting.
to engage with potential patients.
It's a great example of how the thank you economy isn't just for big corporations or flashy brands.
Right.
Even a local business like a dental practice can leverage these principles to create meaningful connections and grow.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's accessible to anyone who's willing to put in the effort,
Right.
be authentic,
Yeah.
and consistently show they care.
But Vaynerchuk also acknowledges that this isn't always easy,
No.
especially for larger companies that have established ways of doing things.
Right.
Changing that culture, shifting those mindsets can be a challenge.
He doesn't shy away from the difficulties. He talks about balancing the demands from investors who are focused on short-term profits
Right.
with the long-term vision of building a thank you economy. And while there's no magic formula, he stresses the importance of experimenting, finding what works, and being willing to adapt.
He's also big on measuring the right things, right?
Yes.
It's not just about website clicks and likes on social media. It's about customer lifetime value, building brand loyalty, and recognizing the power of word-of-mouth marketing.
It's about building relationships that last.
Yeah.
Not just chasing those quick transactions.
Right.
And that's a fundamental shift in the way a lot of businesses operate.
Okay.
He even compares the old way of marketing with its emphasis on push tactics to waging war. It's about overwhelming the enemy with brute force.
You mean like carpet bombing with ads?
Exactly. But in the thank you economy, he says, it's more like the kind of warfare we saw in Vietnam or Afghanistan.
Interesting.
It's about winning hearts and minds, building trust on a personal level, and engaging in a way that feels authentic and genuine.
It's an interesting analogy.
It is.
And it highlights the need for businesses to change their strategies.
Yes.
To move away from those impersonal mass market approaches.
And to embrace the power of personalized connection.
Which brings us back to the title of the book, The Thank You Economy.
Yeah.
It's not just a catchy phrase.
Right.
It's a call to action.
It is.
For businesses to prioritize gratitude, appreciation, and genuine connection.
And he gives some really practical advice for doing just that. He encourages businesses to take a hard look in the mirror. Honestly assess their values and their culture. Be willing to make changes.
He also emphasizes the importance of empowering employees.
Absolutely.
Giving them the freedom to be creative. To take risks. Go the extra mile for customers.
It's about trusting your people. Creating an environment where they feel valued and inspired to do their best work.
And that leads to happier customers and stronger relationships.
One thing that really stood out to me was his concept of shock and awe. You know, those unexpected, generous acts that create those memorable experiences.
Do you have any examples that come to mind?
He loves the story about Hershey's sending families to Hershey Park or sending handwritten thank you notes with small gifts. It doesn't have to be something huge or expensive. It's that thoughtful gesture, that element of caring that makes a difference.
He even talks about how smaller businesses can use this approach. Like the burger joint that organized a flash mob using Foursquare.
It was creative, low cost, and it generated a ton of buzz.
It's about finding those authentic, creative ways to connect with your customers and make them feel like they're part of something special.
He argues that this is something every business can do, regardless of size or industry.
So it's about shifting your mindset.
Yes.
Embracing the power of connection. And consistently demonstrating your gratitude and appreciation.
It's definitely a message that resonates. Especially today, when we're all craving that connection and authenticity.
It's refreshing to see this focus.
It is.
On building genuine human relationships.
It's a reminder that kindness and authenticity aren't just good for the soul. They're good for business, too.
Now, we've talked a lot about social media. But Vaynerchuk isn't saying that traditional media is dead.
Not at all. He advocates for a blended approach. Traditional media is still great for creating awareness, reaching a wider audience. But social media is where you deepen the engagement, build those one-to-one relationships. He uses Old Spice as an example.
Their viral campaign.
Yes. It started with a Super Bowl commercial, which created a huge buzz. But then they took it to the next level by creating personalized video responses on social media.
Interesting.
It was a brilliant way to connect with people, keep the momentum going.
So it's about understanding the strengths of each platform and using them strategically.
He even points out some missed opportunities. For example, Denny's ran those hilarious Super Bowl commercials.
I remember those.
Offering free Grand Slam breakfasts.
They were great.
They were. But Vaynerchuk argues they could have been even more effective if they had incorporated a social media call to action.
Like encouraging viewers to like their Facebook page.
For
an extra coupon or something.
Exactly. It would have been such a simple way to leverage that massive Super Bowl audience, turn those one-time breakfast eaters into loyal fans.
It's amazing how even a small tweak can make such a big difference.
It all comes down to strategy. And understanding how to maximize the impact of each platform.
Vaynerchuk really paints a compelling vision.
He does.
Of the thank you economy. And it's one that feels really relevant. Especially now.
It's hopeful. It's inspiring. It's a powerful reminder that even in the digital age, human connection still matters.
It's about building relationships.
Yes.
Not just closing transactions.
It's about approaching every interaction with gratitude and appreciation, and it's about consistently demonstrating that you care. And it all starts with a simple yet powerful phrase.
Thank you.
Which brings us back to where we started.
Yeah.
With a big thank you to Teacher Ricky.
For bringing this book to our attention and for making this podcast possible.
It's a great pick, Teacher Ricky.
It is.
Really gets you thinking about how you can apply these principles in your own life.
And speaking of that, for all of you listening out there, what small gesture or shock and awe tactic could you implement to build stronger relationships and make a lasting impact?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your ideas.
We would.
And be sure to tell us where you're listening from. We love connecting with all of you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
You know, thinking about this whole thank you economy, it kind of brings us back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
That company culture piece. It's not just about the customers, right?
Yeah.
It's also about creating that same culture of caring internally with your employees.
Because happy employees lead to happy customers.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Vaynerchuk argues that treating your employees
with that same level of care and respect that you extend to your customers creates this, like, ripple effect.
So how do you create that?
Right.
Like a positive, caring culture internally?
Yeah.
Where do you even begin?
Well, Vaynerchuk is all about leading by example.
Okay.
He says company leaders, they need to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Right.
They need to embody those values.
Yeah.
Gratitude, appreciation, genuine connection in everything they do.
He talks about how Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, handled the acquisition by Amazon, right?
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Hsieh was incredibly transparent with his employees throughout the whole process.
Okay.
You know, he addressed their concerns, acknowledged their anxieties, and emphasized that Zappos' unique culture would be protected.
Okay.
Even under the Amazon umbrella.
He even gave employees the option to leave with a severance package.
If they weren't comfortable with
the
changes.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
It shows that he genuinely cared about his employees' well-being. He wasn't just trying to force them into a situation they weren't happy with.
It's a good reminder that building a strong company culture starts with trust and respect.
Absolutely. And Vaynerchuk stresses it's not just about grand gestures. It's about those everyday interactions, the little things that show you care.
Like saying thank you.
Exactly.
Offering words of encouragement or just taking the time to listen to your employees' ideas and concerns.
Those seemingly small actions can make a huge difference in creating a positive and supportive work environment.
And when employees feel valued and appreciated, they're more likely to go above and beyond for the company and its customers.
Which ultimately creates that positive feedback loop.
It does.
Leading to greater success.
For everyone involved.
And speaking of success, Vaynerchuk doesn't shy away from the fact that building a thank you economy requires effort. It requires a willingness to change, to adapt, to consistently prioritize those values of caring and connection.
He puts it this way.
Okay.
The thank you economy is not a trend. It's a fundamental shift in the way we do business.
So it's about recognizing that in today's world, people have more choices than ever before.
They do.
They can easily switch brands, leave negative reviews, share their experiences with the world.
So if you want to stand out, if you want to build a loyal following, you need to give people a reason to choose you.
And that reason often comes down to how you make them feel.
Exactly. It's about creating those positive, memorable experiences that go beyond just the transaction.
It's about building relationships, not just closing deals.
It's a message that resonates deeply.
It does.
Especially in today's world, where everything feels so fast-paced and impersonal.
It's refreshing to hear someone advocating for a more human-centered approach to business.
It's definitely a message worth spreading.
It is.
And speaking of spreading the message, we want to thank Teacher Ricky once again.
Absolutely.
For not only producing this show,
right,
but for suggesting the thank you economy.
Yeah.
As the source material for this deep dive.
It was a fantastic pick, Teacher Ricky.
It was.
Really got us thinking about how we can all apply these principles in our own lives and businesses.
And for all of you listening out there, if you have other books or topics you'd like us to deep dive into, please let us know in the comments section below.
We'd love to hear your suggestions.
We would.
And tell us where you're listening from. We love connecting with all of you.
Until next time, keep diving deep.